Hey, what is going on, guys? EZFN recently buffed the turbo build speed in Season 4 from 0.15 seconds between each build to 0.05 seconds between each build. That's a pretty noticeable buff that changes the way the game is played. So in today's video, we're going to have a conversation on what exactly changed, the benefits, toss-up points, and drawbacks, and then finally we'll move into my opinion if I think this is the right way to go. Okay, so previously you were able to place about 7 builds per second, but now you can place 20 builds per second with the turbo build buff. This is definitely noticeable, as certain moves that a good chunk of players can do, like 90s, is totally achievable now in Season 4, while before it was very difficult to do that. You can also pull off some like piece control plays, more complex high ground retakes. You can basically just do more mechanical plays. We're still not to the level of Season 7. It's definitely not as responsive and as quick as that. So if you're doing some crazy plays in Season 7, you're probably not going to be quite at that level, but it is noticeably more responsive. Let's move on to the benefits of this change. And the first one is a pretty noticeable improvement to responsiveness of the game. I've been seeing one of the biggest complaints going around is that Season 4 is too unresponsive. I feel out of sync with my character. The good news is that if you are having an issue with that, it should be significantly better. It's not going to be one-to-one, like super responsive like Season 7 is, but it's definitely a step up and it should help out if that was your biggest issue. And the second thing is I think it'll be an easier transition for new players that are coming from playing some other version of Fortnite. So that's Season 7 or Chapter 5 Battle Royale or Rewind Royale, anything like that. If you're coming from something like that, you're going to be used to quicker building. So if building is a bit faster in Season 4, that'll feel more natural, be an easier transition. However, I don't think this will apply to someone who hasn't played Fortnite at all in a long time or has never played at all. Then it'll be very difficult because building is faster. But if you're used to quick building, this should be an easier transition for you. So in terms of the toss-up points, the skill ceiling has increased as there are more build options. That's arguable whether that's good or bad. Some of you may really enjoy that. If you're pretty good mechanically, you could do more complex and more interesting plays. It can make fights more dynamic. But on the other hand, if you prefer that slower building, more focused on base building, positioning, that kind of stuff, that stuff still works, but it's overall less important. So I think that's really a toss-up point there. The second point is that now we need more time to farm mats because you need to build more. So, you may see that as just a necessary evil, more building, more time farming mats. But I would say we need Siphon more than ever now, as farming, it's just unbelievably boring. And if we had Siphon, people would be spending a lot less time farming mats. So I really hope we do see that soon. I do see some pretty noticeable drawbacks to this change, though. For one, there's more builds, which overall is going to nerf anyone on high ping, as if building slow, high ping matters a lot less because, yes, you can barely build on high ping, but if everyone else can only build at an okay at best, then you're not too bad. But as building gets faster, high ping becomes harder and harder to use. Though I still play on high ping and I still had no issues, so it's still totally possible to win on high ping. It's also a nerf if you have low FPS, if you have PC problems. The more builds there are, the less FPS you're going to get, so just something to keep in mind there. It's not like Season 7 where there's a huge amount of builds that can slow down your FPS, but it is noticeable if you're already having FPS issues. The second thing is, if you were playing this game for that OG experience, that old school experience of you really can't box fight, you're tower camping, you're doing a lot of build battles, that kind of stuff, base building, it still works, it's still definitely viable, but some of that is being taken away as natural high ground and building up high ground with a base before the fight starts is less useful now that you can build faster. So just something to keep in mind. If that's the reason why you enjoyed Season 4, I do think part of that's been taken away, but it's not fully gone. Like Season 7, base building does not really work, but it still works in Season 4, it's not as strong. So now moving to my overall opinion. Initially, I was thinking I would strongly disagree with the change. I was like, that's what the whole point of Season 4 is, right? To be focused on positioning, aim, base building. And now having played it, it honestly made less of a difference than I thought it would. It's noticeable, but a lot of those tactics like base building still work perfectly fine. And even though I play on high ping, it's still totally possible to win. So I would at this point say I'd still probably disagree with the change. I probably wanted to go back to the way it was before, but I don't strongly disagree with it anymore. It's kind of, I can see the benefit. I can see the responsiveness. I can see how people like it. When I'm looking at Season 4 and 7, I really say that Season 4 should be as different as possible to give you a different experience. Season 7 is the most responsive, so you can do the most complex builds. Well, Season 4, I kind of liked it. That was a slower pace, more focused on old school tactics. But with this change, we've kind of merged those together. They're getting closer, but it just doesn't make enough of a difference to where I strongly oppose it. But I would like to see it maybe go back, but not the biggest deal if we stay like this for the foreseeable future. I honestly don't mind the game in this state. And with that, if you agree with me, disagree with me, think I'm partially correct, feel free to leave a comment. Happy to have a conversation with you. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.